Hello, it is March 10th of 2021, and we are going to be doing another Netlify CMS learning video resource today.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we have a couple things up on the agenda, so I'll get started just with our first one, which is one, excitingly, the Netlify CMS is ready to be used for blog posts for creating and editing and reviewing, drafting, publishing. It's good. It's good to go. It's like do blog posts in Netlify CMS. It is time to do that now. We can totally do that thing. So that's the announcement portion, and I will show how to do that. So share my desktop. Here we are. Excellent. So first up, for those who haven't seen it or just want the refresher, we do have a handbook page specifically for all of this content contribution to the GitLab marketing website via Netlify CMS. And this has a bunch of the links that we are going to use today to accomplish this demo here. So first up, I'll go to the admin page, which is at about.gitlab.com/admin. I'm already logged in, although it might prompt you to log in. If you are not, it uses your gitlab.com login. So up next, so let's start a new blog post. So this is the Netlify CMS interface landing page. Right now it starts on topic. And this left-hand side called collections, click the blog posts collection. This will take a while to load, but you don't need to wait for it to finish loading. This is loading up right now all of the entries. So you'll see some of them come through somewhat quickly, but you can just click new blog post before that finishes. Don't worry about it. The only time you need to wait for it is if you're going to edit a blog post and you need to wait for it to show up. And even there, you can go to a direct link faster. But here we are. This is a new blog post. So I will title this Netlify CMS Learning Resources Example Blog Post. And here you can, so we have optional fields. So I'll skip those in time, but author is just freeform text, right? I could say Tyler Williams and Lauren Barker. GitLab wants the GitLab handle. Twitter, same deal. Categories, and we have a helpful link for all the categories there are. I'm going to go ahead and just choose, I'm going to choose unfiltered here in case I accidentally publish us to unfiltered while I'm live demoing something. Tags, we also have a useful link for a set of tags. The description, which becomes the Open Graph meta tag description. And this one looks like it's not optional. So this is example post for Netlify CMS learning resources. Excellent. And then here we have the image. So I want to show this also very specifically. So you can choose from the image library or insert from URL. Definitely, if you don't have something in mind already, choose an image. Click through the media library because there is just a ton of stuff. You can see sort of how small the scroll bar is. And we did a learning resource last week where I talked a little bit about how this is wired up specifically and where to. So this is a nice browser and you can even search for things. So let's say if I want to search for something, I see bug bounty keyboard. But you can see it'll also kind of do a fuzzy search here where I've got there's no spaces here, but it was oh, okay, no spaces, bug bounty, but here's some dashes. Oh, and here it is in the, it's, somewhat flexible. So if you're not sure what you're looking for, I don't know, if I wanted to do a blog about DevOps, cool, right? Of course we have so many available images here. So this is a great place to start. But of course, if you want to insert from URL, you can upload your own for something specific. So I will just choose one. Let's go ahead and grab, I'm going to type blog and see, there's a ton of different blog stuff too. Just going to blog desk, and then you click choose selected. Oh, and you can upload as well if you wanted to upload an image. So instead of doing from URL, you can go from your computer with the direct file upload as well. So we'll just choose the selected, and here it is, shows up as the image, optional Twitter text, and then here's your body. And so you can do it in the rich text editor or the markdown editor. And so if I were to do like a heading level 2 in, oh, this was in rich text. I meant to do that in markdown. So if I started in markdown and kind of did the heading 2 with the 2 octothorpes there, it converts back over in rich text. But that is worth noting if you saw, so like here, when I started, I did heading 2, and then I copied this. This is rich text, and it actually does the escape character on the 2 octothorpes there. So like, as you're going through the body editing, if you're expecting that you're in Markdown, definitely double check you're in Markdown here. Otherwise, you may have just some formatting challenges. Easy enough to rectify, but perhaps a little annoying if you're expecting one way or another. But it's nice to have the rich text editor. We also have additional blocks. You can add images. Same thing. You can choose images the same way. You can upload here as well. Or you can insert from a URL, add the alt text in the title. What else do we have available to us? We have code blocks, which give us this. Oh, this is gorgeous. I haven't actually done this in the editor. This is like really pretty. You get the nice like pre-formatted something like that, which is excellent. And YouTube embeds as well. And this will take the YouTube video ID. So let me go ahead and I will just choose an image here just to have some stuff going on. Image, I'll keep the code block. I don't have a YouTube video ID off the top of my head, so I'm going to delete that for now. And then I will keep going with, let's say, the rich text editor, grab a heading 2, drop it at the top here. This is a sample blog post. Cool. And so that's my blog post, very substantive, lots of good things said in it. And I will save it. It'll take some time to save. One of the reasons it's taking so long is because this is a Git-based content management system. So it is like doing the Git operations you would do if you were locally like checking out a new branch, making changes, committing them, pushing them up to create a merge request. So it's got to do all that programmatically, and it goes through the API. So this will, takes a little bit of time here. Still working on the saving, but then we get this excellent little notification that our entry has been saved. And now that it's saved, we are in draft mode. You can see even here it says like delete unpublished entry. We're not yet published. It's in draft. We will not publish it at this moment. And so what I want to show next is sort of like what's next. So say you've written your blog post and you're ready for someone to review it. You can actually go to, there's a label in GitLab in the project where you can go see what MRs are in draft. And what do we have here? It looks, this one you can see is Open Now by Tyler Williams. That's me. And then this is like the title with autofill the date, learning resources. That's the title there. You can click it. So here's my MR. And from here,
so cool when it does that.
It's excellent. You can assign yourself if that's appropriate, or if you need like a manager to post it, you can assign them or someone else from the content team. Same thing with reviewers. Here I will select Lauren. So now Lauren will get an email saying, hey, you've been like asked to do a review. And from here, Lauren, should I guess, so here's a question that I have actually. Should we move it to pending review? I guess we should, because I almost skipped a step. I said this was like draft, and then I said review it. And if I'm drafting it.
Well, so what I would, before you move it to review, is check that review app. Make sure your blog post looks how you want it to look in the review app of your MR. So you still got to wait for that pipeline to finish before you even have access to the review app. Right. Let's show them the workflow tab and how you would be able to move it into the next stage once it's ready.
Excellent. Thank you. That's a great idea. So this is the workflow tab, and I did that as Lauren was speaking. So I'll go back again to where I was, which is, get me here. Yes. So I was looking at the page. I was looking at the blog post that I had added. And I just clicked on the workflow tab in the top navigation, or I didn't do that. I clicked in the back button because here the top navigation doesn't have that. I clicked the back button that says changes saved. It's got a little back arrow here to the left. And then I clicked the workflow tab. That's how I got here. And now you can see sort of these swim lanes where we have drafts, review, and ready. So this is still in draft because we haven't done anything with it. So when you click that save button the first time, it gets the draft label, which puts it in the draft column. And again, we can see that draft label here. Let's see if our review app is ready. I am not optimistic, not quite. Do you want to show something else? Do you want me to move it?
I'll go ahead and show the Typeform, and then we'll come back real quick.
Excellent, cool. I will stop sharing for the moment.
All right. So, well, there we go. Boom. There's our agenda. We've documented this editorial workflow here on the handbook page, which talks about how this works, what happens when you make an action in Netlify UI, and what's happening in the background with Git. So always check out the handbook page because we're gonna keep iterating on that. But the next thing we're gonna show you is how to edit a Typeform landing page or create a new one. And I'm just going to show how to edit a current one, but we have a new content type down here for Typeforms. Currently we have 2, so you could create a new one. I'm just going to go ahead and edit a current one, and it looks really similar to all the other content types. You got your title, your header body, SEO, final path. This is what your data file is going to be named. And it only names it the first time you create it. So it's important when you're first creating a new page that you get that final URL path correct. We can always change it later.
So if you change it and save it, it won't rename the file?
No, it will change the data in that file, but it won't actually change the name of the file. And me and Val discovered that.
There we go. Really good to know. Thank you.
It was really good to know. And here is the magical Typeform embed right here. And you're going to get this embed from Typeform. So you'll build your quiz in Typeform, style it, and then you're going to get that embed code and you just paste it in here. We have a CTA banner block. It's what's on the topics page too, and then you can drop in related blog posts here at the bottom. And I will go ahead and show what this page looks like. Oop. Oh yeah, that's because we changed. This is the one that we changed the URL on. There it is. So this is what the quiz landing page looks like. All these pages are going to be under the quiz URL. Got your title block. Here's your Typeform. Here's the CTA block, and then our blog cards at the bottom. And that's pretty much it for that one.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Let's see if that blog post is ready.
I think it is. This is like a cooking show.
Gotta go in the oven for a little bit.
Yeah, like quick cut over to like the appetizers, right? And it's like, okay, and now we're back, and like it's done. All right, so here we are back in, yep, I'm sharing my screen. We're back in, this is the MR created from my blog post. It's still in draft mode. But now we have this, the review app is ready to go. So if you click on that, and the nice thing about this too is it's smart, and it's like, oh, hey, I see you added a blog post here, so I'll send you directly to the blog post, right? And here we are.
Important note on that though, on our topics and our Typeform pages, since they are created by data files, that direct link from review app doesn't work.
Cool. That is, yeah, that's really good to know. And those are just for like the topics, top levels, like /topics / the slug. And then there's child topics that are underneath. And then the Typeform, like you said, is under quiz. So, and I think all that too is listed in the Netlify CMS interface. It's like, here's what your final URL will look like in some prompt. So, so yeah, here we are. We're on Unfiltered, and you can see in this review app, if I go to Unfiltered, oh, it's probably not yet finished building. So I think I might have gone a little too fast on that one. Yeah, I don't think it's yet rebuilt all the blog stuff because that's being run in parallel. But once the whole MR was, once the entire pipeline was done, you could go like check on the blog page and find the thing. And here we are. This is a sample blog post, the image that I chose, the code block. I'll click to tweet element here as well. This is the featured image that we chose as well. Cool. So now let's say I'm really happy with where the blog is at. And I'm like, great, loving it. I feel really good about everything I've said here. So we can do one of a couple things. And so probably, you know, to keep everything in the Netlify CMS, you can just drag it to in review. You'll see it's loading. And again, that's because all it's doing in this moment is changing the label of the MR. And so we'll go back to the MR here. So right now, before I've refreshed, it's still in draft, and we should see that with the in pending review. And here we are. And then you can assign your reviewer, get all the people who need to get eyes on it, and then they can give you your edits, et cetera, et cetera. Cool. And then from there, so now you're in review, and you've gotten all your feedback back on it, and perhaps someone has like left. So you can see in the changes. So this will kind of feel more like the MR stage of things. People can leave comments and say someone says, you know, here, hey, this should be Baz, right? It's like add comment. So they add this comment as part of the review. And you see, you're like, oh, okay, cool. That makes a lot of sense. So from here, you can do any number of things. But again, you know, you can edit things the way we have done in the past. You can go through the web IDE. You can do it locally. But just to sort of demo what we would do here is you can click back into the post. It'll load up. Here we are. And then you can make your edits, and you can kind of, you know, side by side and say, oh, okay, like this should actually, in fact, be Baz. Great. Awesome. Cool. And then I think I just save it, right? And you'll see the status is back in review. We could have also, so when we drag from swim lane to swim lane, you can also like set the status, which I'll demo here once this is done saving itself.
And what is super cool about this is you went in and made another edit. It's going to now make a new commit to your MR, and you can see exactly what's changed with that new commit. And the same thing will happen if another person opens your blog post and edits it. It'll show a new commit by that person and what they exactly changed. So there's a lot of ways and flexibility of using this.
That's awesome. I hadn't even thought about it. If you've got an editor who like you're working with and you're like, hey, just go in and like make whatever changes you see fit, they can do that. And even if you don't tell them that and they wanted to, if they were to do so, it would be tied to a specific commit. And you could say like, you could compare your version. You're like, here's my original draft. Here's the commit version. And so I'll show that. So it's saved. We'll go back to the MR. And I think it already showed up. Yep, here it is. This is the commit. And so you can like compare with previous version, just like any of the Git differentials, and we can see this change here. And like as I was kind of like saying, is if, you know, version 2 was your initial draft, right, or version 1 was, and now you have this latest version here, and then the latest version was your editor came in and made changes. You could see what they changed specifically in that commit, which is really cool.
So cool. Magic.
It's awesome. So we get all the Git tools, but with a like friendly, beautiful editor in front of it. And then I will set status. So again, what I'm going to do here is, so we've saved this post. It's still like in review, and let's say it like that was the only change that I needed to make. Now I could click ready, and Lauren, correct me if ready won't publish it, right? This will just say
nope, just that publish button.
Sweet, excellent. That's so good to know. So clicking ready here accomplishes the same thing as dragging it into the different swim lanes. So, and we can show that first here with the labels, pending publish label, and we can also see it in the workflow. And now you can see it was we started in drafts, moved to review, move to ready. Here we are. There's a button to publish here, right? There's any number of ways to publish, which is good to be aware of because there are so many ways that you could click publish. You can publish from the workflow.
What's really good to know is you can only publish it if you have merging rights to the www repo.
Right.
Already.
Yeah, and that's and yeah, so that gives us those good safeguards on that too. And so yeah, we could approve and merge as need be. Publish now, publish and create and create new. We'll start a new blank one. Duplicate. We'll duplicate what you put in here. I'm not going to click publish on this test post, and in fact, I will delete this unpublished entry unless there's anything else you want to show here.
I think this is great.
Cool. I'll go ahead and delete this unpublished entry. They confirm things for you. And then I think, so we've done Typeform. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about in workflow functionality?
Just really check that handbook page out. That's going to be your best resource for learning and keeping up to date with that functionality.
Yeah. I had a thought too about the saving, the workflow, the drafting. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, we should do a more in-depth on this like next time. I'll add it to the agenda. But I think Netlify CMS saves work in local storage. So like if you accidentally like close your tab, it has a pretty up-to-date like auto save thing. And also you don't need to like click that save button over and over again the way that you might in like a Word doc if you were saving very frequently. And because that save button is like a little slow, you can rely on the local storage for a lot of the saving. If you're putting it aside for the night and like turning off your computer, you might want to click the actual save button to get that up into an MR. But for like 5 minutes, you go make a coffee, or again you like accidentally close a tab, you'll have that work generally saved. It can go if your local storage goes away, but we can do a deeper dive on like what gets saved when and what you can rely on, and what's the easiest way to make sure you don't lose your work. But wanted to make sure people know that like there is an auto save thing going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely helped out.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, if that's everything for recording, I can wrap us up here.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks everyone for watching.
See ya.